Okay, so I just need to clarify that. Now, I started working on my nonprofit in 1999. You know, started the Constitution and whatnot in 2000. You know, established a federal trademark application in 2000. Gordon Campbell didn't get elected until 2001. And, you know, for me, it was B for bylaws, B for bars. I created a nonprofit that wasn't supposed to be dependent on grants coming in from, you know, the province or city municipalities and that type of thing. So, and, you know, I was quite comfortable to go into the bars and, you know, and try and, you know, motivate people to step up to the plate and, you know, contribute back into the community, even if it was $1 at the time, you know, $1 at a time. And so for me, it was already in my head that, you know, and also too, you know, being an adult and, you know, having experience with those types of situations, I know oftentimes people don't want to go home at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, you know, they'll end up in after hours or whatever like that. So, you know, thinking outside of the box, you know, instead of flushing everybody out into an after hour, why not keep some establishments open, right? So, you know, before Gordon Campbell came in with his, oh, well, you know, we're going to allow extension of operation for, you know, bars and blah, blah, blah. The only reason I think he did that is because, you know, I'd like to think that he was, you know, creeping my page, you know, he was creeping my information. He knew what was coming up in the ranks, just like with the freaking universal meal program. He knew what was coming up in the ranks, so, you know, he had to be #1 first in line, so he came in with his universal snack program, just like he came in with his universal, you know, extended hours of operations in the nightclubs, but only with the amendment of the clause where the city, you know, the city mayor and the city councils get to make the final say. So it kind of wiped out what he put down on legislation. So, you know, it was a big it was very misleading, because I thought, well, hey, you know, he's making it where you can, you know, easily access this, right? But it turned out you couldn't easily access it because the door would be slammed shut as soon as you show up knocking at the mayor's door. And then as soon as he brought in his smoking legislation and wiped that and made everybody a criminal for having a cigarette and pushed everybody outside, you know, all these bar owners spent hundreds of thousands of dollars making smoking rooms and all this other stuff. After everybody got cut out and sent outside, a lot of these businesses, not all businesses, you know, some businesses they're okay, but a lot of them, they lost 50% of their customers. You know, who wants to stand outside and have a cigarette and have a beer sitting on the table when somebody can walk by, especially for a woman? You know, I go in by myself, I have to suck back my beer, run outside, go have a cigarette in the pouring rain, go back inside, have another beer, have somebody, you know, spike my beer. It's bullshit. Total fucking bullshit. I tell you, waste of time. I wasted $40,000 just for a bunch of rhetoric, okay? Honest to God, I did. I don't know. I feel so entrapped with this nonprofit, you know, so tricked and so misled down the garden path, so used and abused. Again, I'm getting depressed. My blood pressure is starting to go up because, you know, I started my B for bylaws, B for bars in 1999 before Gordon Campbell even got elected. He supposedly made it where I had opportunity, but he also made it where that opportunity was taken away by the local mayor in my community. You know, whether it was McCullum or whether it's Watts, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, those mayors with their agenda, which is a conservative agenda, does not suit the needs of what average people might need or want or would like to do. Okay, now, yeah, they're building a casino after they tear down the old Dell, you know, that bed bug infested, housing for the homeless people. I haven't gone by and taken videos of it yet, but they're just ripping the place down. So all those people that supposedly were sheltered through their homeless task fund, they all got kicked out because they're tearing down the building. And I knew the guy who owned the building, you know, I won't mention no names, but, you know, he told me that at the top of the building, once they build their high-rise, it's going to be a casino, because he's looking to be a billionaire. He's not satisfied to be a millionaire. He wants to be a billionaire. So there you go. Where does that leave little people like me? Not too far ahead in life, that's for sure. Yeah, you know, going back into the memory lane here, right? So, you know, I have to go downtown, so, you know, I gather up what little resources I have left, and I managed to find my way downtown because you know, again, they try and make it sound like you're going to get ahead in life. You're actually going to get a shot, and you're actually going to get a real opportunity. You have to remember, I'm a poor woman in a man's world, so, you know, I'm dealing with men that, you know, aren't necessarily, like, sympathetic to what I'm trying to do, because they just, like, do it their way, and they're men, and they know what they're doing, and God forbid if they want competition, especially from a woman. But, you know, they would, you know, some of them would take time and talk to me or whatever. Okay, so they sent me downtown, right, to go downtown and go talk to some, you know, security. I had to write in security into my proposal. I had to prove to the police department in Surrey how I'd maintain an extra hour in a nightclub just so that we could bring in a fundraiser, so that, you know, we could build in some programs, whether for homeless people or for children. It didn't matter to me as long as somebody was getting helped, right? Because there's a lot of needs in Surrey. You know, we're a big district with a lot of poverty out here. This is the second highest community outside of East Hastings area, where the level of poverty is extremely high. And so, you know, I'd go downtown and I'd meet with, you know, the security company, and, you know, and have to, you know, be drilled for this question and drilled with that question, and, you know, felt like I was on trial, and then I have to go meet with the guy that was the head boss for, you know, Bar Watch, and, you know, sit there and, you know, shoot the shit with him, and you know, hand in all my paperwork, and, you know, and wait for a phone call that I never got back. And, you know, these are referrals that I'm getting from, you know, wherever I'm getting, as I'm trying to promote this nonprofit and get my proposals in front of city council passed, so I can get on with some fundraising without having to, you know, get a community grant, because they're telling you in one breath, well, don't come to us for a community grant because the provincial government's cutting us off, so go find your money somewhere else. So, you know, again, it goes back to 1999, B for bylaws, B for bar. You know, along comes Gordon Campbell in 2011, opens up supposedly the bars, but makes it so that the city councils can shut them down as fast as they're opened up, you know, and then you run around for 8 freaking years, right, you know, beating your head up against the wall, right? And I didn't particularly want to partner up with Bar Watch, because I'm not really interested in going after a bunch of fucking gangsters, right? You know, I think people should just have, you know, we live in a free society, and you know, I'm not saying that, you know, people shouldn't be held accountable for their actions, but I also don't believe in racial profiling. You know, I don't believe in any kind of profiling. So if you want to dub somebody a gangster just because, you know, he has a certain collection of friends, or he has a tattoo, or, you know, well, what about the guy in the suit? You know, we could dub Gordon Campbell as a gangster, you know, running around, you know, in his, you know, with his friends, you know. I mean, I'm a gangster. I'm up on YouTube, you know, grinning and, you know, and driving my homie car. So, you know, definition of gangster, you know, that's too broad. And when you start profiling so that you can say that you're doing something to alleviate crime and poverty in the community is politics. So, you know, it's just a lot of targeting and racial profiling. So I not that these people would have partnered up with me anyway, because they wanted control of what they were doing. And if you notice, I was never able to network into the district area, the entertainment district area of Vancouver, because it was on lockdown. You know, it's on lockdown. And ironically, it's been proven that, like, in the 1930s or whatever it was, back in those days, that area was the district for entertainment, and which is the East, and, you know, East Hastings area today, which became one of the poorest of the poor, simply for the fact that they concentrated all the, you know, nightclub, that type of entertainment into one district. So, you know, I have an article in my encyclopedia there that I made with the newspaper clippings that expresses that, you know, back in those days, you know, sure, it may have been booming in the, you know, 20s and 30s and stuff, but from that point forward, it just, you know, became a cesspool to create poverty, and it's still, you know, the remnants of that are there today, outside of the gentrification that's going on to, you know, take over the buildings and push out the poor. So, you know, they didn't spread out the wealth. What they did is they recreated the past, and they put the entertainment industry downtown, and then they started targeting, you know, so-called gangsters and that type of thing under a system that you know, I guess that system and those people that run that system felt that I didn't belong in, because they sure in the hell didn't help me with my initiatives. You know, it's been 11 years and, you know, going on 13 for me since 1999. So Gordon Campbell, you know, his little snack program, you know, his oh yeah, extended hours of operations, you know, all those was, you know, there was just some carrot on a stick to get people thinking that there was hope and prosperity in our province. But at the end of the day, you know, only a few can be hopeful and only a few can be prosperous. The rest of us, I don't know. Occupy Wall Street, I don't know. Christy Clark doesn't agree with that. She thinks, you know, we're just those people. I'm not included in that group, but, you know, I'm not saying that I'm totally 100% against it. But at the end of the day, when they were camping outside of the courthouse, you know, she definitely let everybody know how she felt about that.